Yo, 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 what's going on? This is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuya P, and I'm here with the homie Heather Hertz of New Release Wednesday and Tales from Behind the Comic Counter, our comic specialty. She's our comics guru here at NRW. So, of course, if we're going to talk Miss Marvel from Marvel Comics, and the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, we have to have her in here. How are you, Heather?
I am good. How are you? I can't find what I'm looking at. There we go. Hi.
No worries. No worries. We just keep it moving. And you're also a huge Miss Marvel fan. Let's not get that twisted out there. You could be a fan of Marvel, but you could also may not be a fan of that particular character. But in this instance, she is a fan of Miss Marvel. We broke down episodes 1 and 2, and so now we're gonna tackle 3, which is Destined, and 4, which is Seeing Red. I'm gonna toss it over to Heather to break down the story. Then we're gonna give you a little bit about any special characters and actors that were in these 2 episodes, and then just give you our overall opinion of 3 and 4. So I'm gonna turn it over to Heather Hertz.
Okay. So basically, since the very first episode, we have been in preparation for Asmir's wedding. Amir's, not Asmir's. I'm sorry, Amir's wedding. So this is we are finally there. This is the wedding episode. We start out at the. And I apologize. I do not know what the actual name of the party would be, but in basic white American versions, it would basically kind of be the bachelor party. And she's getting his future wife is getting all her cool henna all done because they get it all done, and that takes an entire day. So we're in prep, and Kamala finds herself after the failure of not necessarily the failure, the almost killing of a young child as her first superhero act. She is just in a place of disappointment, a place of sadness, so she needs to get back on her high horse, and that's kind of where we start out. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Where we start out is at the end, where we meet the Jinn. I'm sorry, I completely forgot that whole part at the beginning of episode 3. She finds out that she is a clandestine, also known as the Jinn in modern Indian and Muslim mythologies. The Jinn, of course, we know them as genies. The white version, I guess, the colonialized version of that. But they are much darker. They are much deeper. They are much more terrifying than what you would consider a Jinn. I think the way that she explains it to her friend Bruno is basically a genie that's also a ghost story. They're very dark creatures. So Kamala has actually a fear of the Jinn. So it's, eye-opening and terrifying and scary. And that puts her on this weird doubt. This just continues on her downward spiral of almost killing a child. And where we get to the wedding. So the wedding, they have the party. And then we get to Amir's wedding. We actually have Amir's wedding. And everything goes awry. In the typical Kamala fashion, everything seems wonderful, everything seems great, and then the other Jinn who actually initially asked for Kamala's help, get upset that Kamala isn't quite ready to go that extra step with them. I mean, she just freaking met them, and they attack. They completely devastate the wedding, and it's just so sad and awful. And that leads us to an event where they try and take her what is it called? What are they calling it?
The bangle.
The bangle.
Yes.
They take her they want to take her bangle, and you see an image of a train that at the same time her grandmother also sees, and her grandmother tells her to go to Karachi, to go to Pakistan and join her there so that she can learn about her roots, about her history. And that's where we find ourselves in episode 4, Seeing Red. I'm sorry, episode 3, I don't know if I said it, Destined, but episode 4 is Seeing Red, where we get to meet really fun character, also a character introduced in the Miss Marvel universe, Red Dagger. Kamala is exploring the streets of Karachi and comes and actually gets a dagger thrown at her face and meets a new character, the Red Dagger, part of a society that is meant to help kind of protect our world against the clandestine, who apparently want to take over our world. They're not trying to leave and get back to their realm. They're trying to bring their realm. I can speak English. They're trying to bring their realm here and take over, this reality, which is so much worse than it really seems like. While she's learning all of this stuff about her kind of her superhero side, she's also learning about her personal side, in which her grandmother straight up admits, you're a Jinn, like straight to the point. And Kamala is just like, how are you okay with that? And she's like, well, sometimes you just got to be who you are. And it's a really, really important moment for Kamala to see her past, to learn about her past. And all of that, this is a very quick version of episode 4, but all of that leads up to another fight with the clandestine in Pakistan. And she magically ends up on the railway tracks in front of this mysterious train that took her grandmother and her mother out of India during, I always forget the word, to bring her to safety to Pakistan. And so she's now in the past, 1950s, I think it was, or 1940s, something like that. And that's where we kind of end. Hopefully that's a decent enough explanation.
I think that was satisfactory enough.
Thank you. Satisfactory. I'll take.
Just trying to give an overall.
I'll take a C+. I'll take a solid C+.
Well done, Heather Hertz. I love it. All right, and I got the easy job this week because there's not too many new actors or characters, or at least not in episode 3. We have the bulk of the actors that we've seen in the first 2 episodes returning. Everyone's here. The lovely Miss Marvel, again, Iman Vellani, killing it. The family, the extended friends, and the bad guys and gals that are coming after our lovely Kamala Khan. So everybody's back again. So that takes care of episode 3. But I will say in episode 4, when we get to Pakistan, we are introduced to some new characters. One that I was sorry to see go. He went down quick, but so I'll give him the first acknowledgement. Waleed, the leader of the Red Daggers, played by Farhan Akhtar. He bites the bullet. Really a great, cool character to just who when they come to Pakistan and they break down who the Red Daggers are and everything that they're about. And he was trying to protect them. And, I thought he was just a great male character. But then with all things, somebody's got to bite the bullet or take the knife to the chest, as it were. I forgot what it was, how he went down.
On his back. He takes it down.
Oh, yeah, to the back. Into the back.
Yeah.
But not just a fantastic character, but bites the bullet. But, hopefully gives motivation to the rest of the Red Daggers and to Kamala Khan that this is something serious. Is this the first time she saw somebody die around her? I think so, because there's some heavy moment there, right, Heather? I don't think anybody else died around her, but this is the first time.
I think this is the first time. If anything, this is the first person who died because of her.
That too. Yes. You know what? That's key. That's key.
No. Because during the wedding, she was warned that the clandestine would come in and kill everyone. And that's exactly what they did. They came in. So no, this is not the first person who died because of her. This is because a whole bunch of the event staff at the wedding got killed by the clandestine.
Oh, yeah.
Get to her.
Gotcha.
This is kind of the first person who died in protection. I'll change the way, who died in protection of her. The others were just unfortunate
casualties of war.
Yeah.
Of the casualties of the clandestine trying to go for the bangle. All right, but yes, a great character. Sorry to see him go. But what we did get, I should have did this character first. The quote unquote Red Dagger of the Red Daggers, Aramis Knight, young gentleman that she initially meets in tracking when she's going around Pakistan. They meet at the train station, have a nice little fight there at the train station to where, hey, we shouldn't. I forgot what was the dialogue, Heather. We shouldn't really be fighting each other. You're not really clandestine. I think it was a mistake. Was it? It was.
He found out who she was real quick. Yeah.
So which is what happens a lot in comic books, which you all know if you read it. There's always gonna be some kind of battle before. Oh no, hey, we're on the same side. We're friends. Let's not do this. So shout out to Aramis Knight. When I was looking at his work on IMDb. We've seen him in Into the Badlands, Ender's Game. He was in The Dark Knight Rises. So young actor, now teen, and doing his thing as Red Dagger. So shout out to Aaron Snyder. He's so far so good. Enjoyed him in that role there. But we get to meet these Red Daggers. So those are the newest batch of characters introduced into the Miss Marvel universe, cinematic universe that we get. That happens in episode 4. So those are a real touch on the characters. But before I throw it back to Heather and myself giving you our thoughts and our review, I do want to go back to actually episode 3. She was a background actor in this, but she's very important if you are a comics nerd and a comics fan. One of the attendees at the wedding was Sana Amanat, who is the former editor and co-creator of Miss Marvel. She is part of one of the big reasons why we have a Miss Marvel. A lot of what we know of the character is based off of her own experience as an immigrant from Pakistan. So it was cool. I saw her in the audience there, and then she got back into the scene when the camera works. But just a background actor, but very important. It was cool that they got that representation in there, her to be in there because she is one of the creators. And I also think she's one of the producers on the show, if I'm not mistaken as well. So she still has her hands with this fantastic character that she helps co-create. And just, you love to see it when, people, do what they do and give us this amazing material. So shout out to Sana Amanat. And if I'm brutalizing names, if both Heather and I are brutalizing names, we apologize. We're learning, we're trying to show respect where we can, and there you go.
Funny thing from the press conference. I have not been able to get it up because crazy things with that press conference, but one of the cute, I said it in the previous video, I believe that it was one of the cutest press conferences I've ever taken part in. But one of the things that Sana was actually able to tell, a big question, of course, is the difference in Kamala's powers between the comics and the show. And of course, that was directed right at Kevin Feige. It was just like, why? And he clearly has that traditional PR statement about it. It's like, we had to do this. And I am not giving him any leeway on that bullshit about Reed Richards, like zero leeway on that. She is an Inhuman, and I know that they changed it for this, but one of the big things is that Sana actually came forward and she's like, when we were talking about it, when we were figuring out, Marvel did come to me as one of Kamala's creatives and asked what we should do. And she's like, I'll take the brunt of it. And it was my decision. I think that this was how it should go. It was a fun way to retell her story. So it actually, her opinion of the character that she created and how she is redefining it, it's a really good twist on, if you were upset with the changes, know that it was done with approval by at least one of her 3 creators. And I do believe G. Willow Wilson was also in agreement of the changes. Sana was she was in the room. She was a writer. She was a producer of the series. So
awesome.
That helps me feel a little better about her power changes. So.
Yeah. And now I'm happy you brought that up, because when we did our first reaction review of Miss Marvel, we did it prior to episodes 1 and 2 dropping. So this is actually our first time now being able to speak freely, because we kept it very tamed and very non-spoilery. Mm-hmm. So as not to get in trouble with the mouse and Disney. So can we now talk on that just a little bit? Sure. Now that we're a little bit more free from that aspect when we dropped our 1 and 2 review, where do you sit at with that now? We've now, as of this recording, episode 5 is now out to the people. Once, as y'all know, we're doing 1 and 2 recaps, 3 and 4. Episode 5 is now, as of this recording, out there, and then we'll be back with our 5 and 6 review. How are you feeling now with everything, kind of where we're at, and then where we're at from that standpoint, and what we've seen? You and I have talked offline and online on our other shows on our feelings of just how the opinion has been coming in, and we touched upon it there, but this is our first time doing within it in our Miss Marvel recap review. Yeah. So I'm curious your thoughts. Maybe that's a lot I just put on you. Let's just talk. No. Let's go power.
There is if you haven't seen our weekly review, as I say in that video and every other video before, I have never stood on a soapbox before.
Never.
This is my first time. For those of you who have not watched that one, white people step the fuck up, because the general response from people who look like me is that we're not watching this show, and it's doing the show a disservice. And I'm even just going to put that in the form of critiques. One, the amount of happiness from West Asian and South Asian communities is absolutely incredible. They are so excited. They are so happy because they see themselves in a show and they feel like they can truly respond to it in a very represented way. And that's absolutely wonderful. As a general statement, please support South Asian and West Asian reviewers, critiques, please. We appreciate you watching us, but also support the communities that this is greatly representing, because they have a lot to say and they deserve their voice. But it's one of those where one thing that this show is actually, I believe Miss Marvel had the lowest white viewership of any Marvel show ever, of any Marvel thing ever. And not giving it its space is a racist act, period. It doesn't matter if you aren't into a teen show, if you aren't into drama, you are being inherently, systematically racist by not giving the show a chance, especially with how adorable it is. It is the cutest show. I'm gonna call it. It is the cutest show on Disney Plus. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna pull that cord.
Okay.
And it's really cute. It's really sweet. It's got so much heart. And especially in episode 4, you see how family it is. It is a story about it's not a superhero story. You hear this a lot. It's not a Muslim story. It is a story about a family living their lives, and anyone can see themselves in that. Everyone can see themselves with that. And it's giving room to a new set of faces, to a new set of traditions. And it's absolutely adorable. Sorry, I think I got that right. I'll step down from the soapbox now.
Oh, good. No, I'm not going to repeat yourself, so I'm just going to say I completely agree. It's outstanding. I think the only other thing I would add in, as I said in our weekly shows and conversation, as a filmmaker, as a creative, it's so artistically inspiring from in multiple standpoints, as a filmmaking standpoint and cultural standpoints, which is crazy how that just, and I think it just needs to be said as well, because as a person of color, we often don't get the ability behind, not only are we talking about how, and as you said, how problematic it is for people that don't see us in front of the camera, or not seeing it because they can't relate to the people that it's about right now. But what's also amazing is the people behind the camera on the other side as well are getting a chance to work on something like this that is just rare. So that's what's why I just have such a huge heart for everything involved with this. Is people of color are behind the camera and are the creatives and getting to really show what they can do. And that's what just is blowing my mind, is the way I was talking, I brought it up to Glenn because Glenn runs a lot of camera when we're on our weekly show. Just camera movement of shots, like when she goes from reality 616 into the universe and then back out, how the camera moves that way. And then just also the art direction in regards to when she's doing the text. And you spoke on this too, Heather, where it doesn't take you out of the scene just because we can't see her phone. So it's inputted in different objects around the screen, and it still kind of pulls you in and is very artistic. I love it, man. And just the musical direction they pull from the Pakistani or just that arena. Just overall, again, outstanding. I can't talk it up enough. So again, we haven't gotten our review portions yet for this 3 and 4, but that's going to go along with all of that. But back to my point, because I knew I threw a lot at you at that front end of my question.
No, it's you
go ahead.
Just to go along with that. One of the questions that you saw that we got in the press conference that was also directed to Kevin Feige, because it's his universe, it's his baby. No matter how upset and angry we can get with that man, and this is his child. The universe is his child, not the show. But one of the questions why did you put Miss Marvel, which is a story of a Pakistani Muslim family, immediately after Moon Knight, which is in part an Egyptian story, which, depending on where you are, is also a very largely Muslim population. And with that being said, he was just like, we did this on purpose. It is a very different story. Those two characters may never meet. He said, you never know what's going to happen in Marvel, but he's like, those characters may never meet. They might be in completely different arenas in the MCU. But when you have these stories that need to be told, giving a relationship and letting them be themselves is wonderful. So what we literally get, one of my favorite, and we can go into the review with this, one of my favorite aspects of the show is the freaking soundtrack. Between going from Moon Knight's Egyptian musicians to American Pakistani and Pakistani musicians in Miss Marvel, we have incredible music.
Yeah.
And of course we had to get the Bollywood scene in the wedding, which was wonderful. Yeah. It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. Again, shout out to the music. It opens up the world that may just be familiar with what we're getting here on American radio stations. Mm-hmm. Going back to personal experience, when I was in the middle, here raised in America, U.S. Navy, but American. But then when I joined the military and then I went overseas, being exposed to that, because it wasn't getting radio airplay here. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. And this is pre-internet everything. So all you knew was kind of like American music. Then you go over there and you're like, oh my God, wow.
I seriously think it's why K-pop and J-pop has such I'm sorry, I'm going to back out of the reviewer standpoint for a second. I'm so sorry. If you can, and I know this is a very privileged statement, but if you can travel. And this and so much of this is actually directed to American viewers in general, because we are trapped in a bubble of Americanhood. And it's absolutely devastating. Even if you go to another, European, like another white European nation, it's completely different. You get to learn, you get to see. If you've never, my husband and I have been trying to get to Paris for, since before the pandemic. Paris has one of the most active punk scenes, and crazy enough, so does Tokyo on the planet. If you're not experiencing other cultures through their music, through their lives, travel, see other places, because I don't know about you, but when she's in Pakistan, all I wanted to do was go to Pakistan. That's all I wanted to do.
I wanted the food where they were eating and they were trying. I love traveling. Oh. Yeah, I completely echo you. I've been blessed and very fortunate, which I know, again, to your statement, not everyone is privileged enough to be able to do that. I was able to do that, as a child of a military parent, then joining the military, then coming out of the military, and then being able, through my financial means, to be able to travel. So mm-hmm. I've been very blessed. But again, it's all about exposure. And that's why I'm so thankful for shows like this and for this generation that now has the internet. Because again, I feel very lucky that pre-internet, back in the dark days where I was able to travel and be able to discover this. Now, to me, there's no excuse. Yes, if you can't travel, but you have the internet now, expose yourself, go online, find out about this stuff. Because now I think, the door is open with the internet, but you still also have to get out there. You need to there's something different from a suggestion online than from a suggestion from somebody in Paris or wherever you're at, or them taking you to a concert. Like, straight up, and I'll also apologize out the gate for this. Back in my day, 97, 96, going over to a techno club and then having the glitter lights and everything, and then buying all those stuff from the DJs and coming back and introducing that to American clubs and stuff like that. And then here comes techno covers. That's where I was apologizing, because a lot of people don't like techno now. But hey, techno was hitting her. It's just certain aspects, or house music, and it's something special when you're in Europe when that was going on. Just let me tell you, it was the best. So, but then when we take it over, then people are like, what the fuck is this stuff? Well, they liked it, but now they're like, man, you all are weird. But anyway, there's just something to be said about that.
So that's the great, like, I think that's, I know we're getting off track, and I'm sorry, totally. But it's so important to talk about like music. And I am not music literate. I am terrible when I don't remember bands' names. I am the dumbest fuck when it comes to music, but it's universal. And it's a language you don't need to understand to love it and appreciate it. And so like, I'm sorry. I got distracted. The soundtracks for these shows are so good.
Amazing. Okay. So yeah, completely agree. All of that. One of the things you had brought up earlier that I wanted to just touch upon, and you slightly touched upon it, but we didn't, I don't know if we had this conversation yet now in the open, is the power set thing. And now we're episodes in. I don't mind it at all. Now again, yes, there's something about it being an Inhuman, but I will say now, now we're kind of episodes in a little bit. As a writer myself, and as we've seen in the series, it comes from within. The bangle only unlocked things a little bit. There's ways in writing, and we are also in a multiverse, that things can be changed up too, now that they're being comfortable, because as we've seen now from Doctor Strange Multiverse, we do have a Reed Richards, Kevin Feige, which, so like we can integrate all these things now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your thoughts on that? We both had to get accustomed from that change because we were both comic fans. That was the biggest thing I think that any Miss Marvel fan had with the series going in. But now that we're in, I don't care personally. I don't care anymore. But then if they do want to bring it back, to me, there's a way they can write it into it. But if they don't, I'm perfectly fine. Personally speaking, just for myself, on how they're going with the series, because I absolutely love it in every way. It doesn't stick out to me. Although I think you brought up, maybe it was online or offline. I still want to have the Inhuman dog and
Lockjaw.
Yeah, I still want that to happen. That has to happen. I have to have a Miss Marvel Lockjaw live action reunion.
I would not mind. I would not mind Lockjaw. What I kind of foresee it, especially now that we know there is at least one Black Bolt out there.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, we can kind of maybe get there.
We just need to correct the error. ABC, Disney, you can do it. You can correct the errors of your ways. But we need a Lockjaw in the universe, because Miss Marvel, because Kamala needs a pupper dog. She deserves a pupper dog.
Yes, I want that. That's the one big thing for me.
Yes, I will disagree on one part of this. Or one part of what you say. For the most part, I completely agree. Once you take out, like, what I truly was not happy with when it came to the show, did not necessarily have to do with the show. And I know we said this on the first one. It was more the reasons why the changes were made that we were upset than what was made, what decision was made. It's why the reasoning. And I agree. Like, does it seem a little bit strange? Does it seem a little bit wonky at times? Absolutely. I don't know how much of that is just partially bad graphics. And I'm not saying that it's bad graphics. Like, it maybe the graphics aren't working for what we are getting. Like, that's what.
Oh, you're talking about how the actual power works.
How it actually can work sometimes.
You know what? I guess because I'm so in love with it and its style and everything else. When I sit and think about it, and you just made me focus on that right now.
Just a little bit.
I do kind of like,
There's sometimes when some things just don't work, or it seems a little weird. And I'll give the example of the Red Dagger Miss Marvel fight. There was just something off about, like, the fight was legitimate. They needed to meet somehow. She is still getting used to her powers. One of the things I love about the show in of itself is it actually is letting her learn to grow. Like, she's not just magically Miss Marvel. She is learning to adapt with her powers, and that's absolutely adorable. The scene on the top of the building in episode 2 where she's learning and she's like falling over and she's jumping really badly, and it's super, super cute. But sometimes the graphics just, I don't know, it's just a little bit off.
Yeah.
You know, it's CGI. Oh well. But when it comes down to the correction or an adaptation of back into an inhuman status, I actually at this point hope they don't do that. And they have given her an origin. She is a clandestine, she is a Gen. And no matter how much I love my Inhumans, no matter how much I think that Black Bolt and Medusa and Lockjaw should definitely be on the screen, I hope that they never make her an Inhuman. Sorry, I got a message from work right at that moment. I'm just like, no. Of course.
No, I'm surprised about never.
I do not redact. Do not go back on your word. Do not change. If this is what you want her to be, give her that solid origin. Let Kamala be who she is. Don't try and change her story. Now, if you want to, because we can rewrite the other side, like where maybe the Inhumans now in this universe are some weird offshoot of the clandestine, or maybe the clandestine created the Terrigen. Like we want to make them weird ancestral cousins. I'm okay with that. But let Kamala be who she is. Don't retract anything. Don't rewrite her. If this is what you decided that Kamala is going to be, keep her this way, because this is giving her a good story. This is giving her a good origin.
I feel
Let her be this.
I feel that. Yeah, and I think you would be right. Yeah, if you do bring them back, like some kind of ancestral type connection, maybe in tying them. I just want a Lockjaw and her together type cutesy,
of course,
cinematic experience. That would be nice.
We deserve.
I'm loving it. Yeah. But the big apprehension though that we had, will it work? Will it work? It has worked, and by that statement alone, just what you said. And so now, you're here. Don't reverse course. Do this and the third. I can feel that. I can feel that. All right, so yes, just something that we've been holding in, or at least I know I've been holding in because we couldn't say it there. But again, as you heard and seen, we're just adoring this. I love this fucking series. It's my favorite in just its usage of its actors and cast, everyone involved. And then on the filmmaking standpoint, the presentation of the actual material, like I can't get enough. And I thank Heather again for reminding the amazing music, because every time after I watch it, I'm like, man, I miss MIA. I need to go listen to MIA again. And then I need to go download these other tracks and find out who those artists were and blast that in my car. Because again, the music is phenomenal. But 3 and 4, quick thoughts, because I know we've gone on a lot of tangents on this review, because again, we love this show. Great wedding, loved it, loved the relationships, love seeing again. I don't know if I saw G Willow. I don't know. I saw Sanaa and I was like, okay. And then it confirmed it when I was looking at the credits that she was in the episode. I don't know if the other creatives appeared in that scene.
Jamie McKelvey, as far as I know, has not been in any of the storyline at all. I would not think that. I wouldn't think we would ever see him. But
G Willow was. I was curious if she might have been.
I'm really not sure. I could have sworn that at one point Sana made the comment that G Willow had Willow had been worked with. I think that's, or maybe inquired on, like they were just like, if we make these changes, are you okay with it? And her response was probably like, yes, I understand why.
Gotcha.
So I do think that she was brought in for confirmation, but I know this was Sana's baby. This was the show itself was, she was in this every step of the way. She was on set every day.
Yeah. I'm curious if she was going to make a cameo. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, naturally. I mean, it's a God damn it! I just blanked. God damn it!
And it's okay.
I'm gonna get this.
She's gonna look it up quick. But it was great to see them. So lovely part of the wedding, and then great cliffhanger that led us into this episode 4 was come to Pakistan. I'm gonna tell you all about that bangle. And I was like, all right, road trip. Next episode. Excited for that. Again, just the flow and writing of the series is phenomenal. And how just all the characters interplay. So then, yeah, episode 4, we're in Pakistan. We're getting different flashbacks. We're seeing where they're from, and just that cultural connection. Again, it just reminded me like I'm ready to go on vacation again. When you see people and experience that, and they're tasting foods and they're in hot areas, I gotta give them love and a shout out. I loved when like they came, and then when she was at like some function, all the rest of the family were cool, but they had put a lot of like sweat on Amani. Do you remember that?
Yeah, she's at the restaurant. Scene? She's at the restaurant, and she wore jeans. That's
yes. That was it.
She was the American jeans wearing kid who got too hot, but of course she was actually hot because the food was too spicy.
Yep.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
I just love that. Yeah, because we can all relate to that.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. And there's definitely a role that like I love how the show in totality breaks down these dumb ass stereotypes.
Yes. Oh, that too.
You can definitely be Asian and not be able to eat hot foods. You can. One of my favorite stories from the series was Yasmin Fletcher, who plays Nakia, made the comment about, I know this will go back to episode 2, but when she was, episode 1, when she was wearing her hijab and why she wears her hijab. And she's like, her character's like, I'm too white for this, but I'm too Muslim for that. I did this because of me. I wanted to.
I loved that.
You're just breaking down these stereotypes. And one of these, by the way, today we're also talking about Thor. One of those stereotypes is also broken down in Thor, and I love it. But shows like this, it breaks those pieces apart. And it teaches us so much, because at the same time, whereas, as a traditional, I'm just gonna say American or of European descent, most of our general opinions are, when we see that, it's, oh, women have to wear dresses. Women, they're forcing an anatomy or a way of dress on people. But no, in that scene, you see, no, there's a specific reason why you wear certain fabrics, why you wear certain clothing. I love that the show is just small pieces of it are just breaking down stereotypes in a very palatable, anyone can enjoy it kind of way. It's absolutely, and it's great.
Hell yeah. You just reminded me of another scene that I really enjoyed when they were hanging out, when the kids were hanging out and they were all having and sharing food, and they were
in the bag.
Yes, which is different. Different cultures do different things in different ways. And just to kind of break down whatever this general mentality for that culture is, that, this American point of view or whatever this, but yes, we just chill and do our own thing like this, very much in the same way that you would like have snacks or whatever, but it's just, this is how they do it. Right. Mm-hmm. But then, so in that scene too, which was also a great cultural element, and like you were saying, spices, like she was asking a friend because she hadn't tasted that dish yet before. If you remember,
the one in the restaurant she hadn't tasted before, and she said that one was killing her. I just watched the episode just before this. I'm actually a week behind, but no, that's the only reason I remember. Yeah. But she was trying one thing at the restaurant that she wasn't expecting, and it was so hot. Whereas the biryani, she said she never had in a bag before.
Yes, and then her question was it how spicy was it? Which is a very thing that in cultures, even amongst ourselves, are kind of like, I just, it's those little touches that just like outstanding, wonderful writing. But yeah, episode 3-4, Miss Marvel, killing it. I want more. We only have, we have 5 that's out now as of this recording. We're only getting 1 after that. So it's only a 6 issue. There's my comic side of things. It's a 6 episode run. But then we're getting her in Marvels, which we all know, which is going to be outstanding. And I need more Miss Marvel show. Please keep this character around. And she's going to be existing. And I'm just loving it, and just loving everything about. Kevin Feige, man, thank you. But also, the power thing. But okay, I'm all right. I know Heather has feelings. Anything else you want to say, Heather?
He could have said the exact same thing differently. Don't give a white man a brown girl's powers. Just don't do it. Don't be an asshole like that.
Any last thoughts? 3 and 4 leading into 5 and 6.
I want to give a dream for episode 6 so I can put it out into the universe. Put it out in the universe.
Predictions too, maybe how it closes out.
Say what?
Maybe also some predictions. Yeah, since our next episode will be closing it out. What do we want to have happen in the next 2 episodes?
The next episode is we're going to learn about her grandmother, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with learning about her grandmother because we have to know about her origin to know her origin, right? Like we got to know that.
Yeah.
But for episode 6, and once again, this is just me putting out positive vibes into the Miss Marvel universe. I really hope Monica comes down from the moon and goes, Kamala, we need you. And she whisks her away to the moon, and that's how we find how she comes into the Marvels. Like that's how, like the extra special scene is her meeting her hero, her meeting Captain Marvel. That is my goal. I want her to meet Carol, but I want it to be the extra scene at the very end of episode 6. I want Monica to whisk her away to the moon. So putting it out in the universe so it happens.
Yeah, I definitely want that. And then again, we've seen oh my gosh, Spectrum, aka Captain Marvel, aka Monica. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Spectrum. Yeah. I want Spectrum to come and pick her up and whisk her away to the moon.
Well, I was thinking, I thought you were going back and forth between Carol and Monica in a way.
No, I want Monica to come down.
You just want specifically Monica?
What?
Okay. You just specifically want Monica to come through.
I'd
love to see both of them. Because how dope would it be to see the both of them, Monica and Carol?
I want Kamala to meet her on the moon with Nick Fury because she's a huge, Avengers nerd. So the way that I know I've got this piecemealed in my brain.
Okay. Okay. I love it.
Monica comes down. She might not be in uniform yet because I don't know if she has her Spectrum uniform at this point, but she comes down. She's like, I am, I need to take you to the moon to meet Nick Fury. And when she goes to the moon, Carol is also there. And that's really where we get this look into what will become the Marvels in 2023. That is my dream of episode 6. Pay me, Marvel.
Yeah. I'm so excited for that now. Just thinking about that, oh my God, Monica's amazing in WandaVision, right? Mm-hmm. We got that part that we've been missing and wanting. Now we have, Kamala and I don't know about you and, the hate that Captain Marvel got, and how people feel somewhat about Brie Larson. I fucking love it. My family loves Captain Marvel. And I know a lot of people, it was a lot of, I don't know, from what I saw, to me, it was like a lot of white male problematic things with Captain Marvel thing that they weren't all about that. I fucking love the film. I have a TikTok about this and I post it on Twitter all the time. If you are, and I'm not going to get on a soapbox again. Because you don't do that.
I'll do it for the first time in the next.
You'd never do that.
I've never done it. There is a lot of bullshit mixed in with critiques. If you are, and I'm going to say this even about Kenobi, which we will also be talking about later today. If you are legitimately upset with or disappointed in writing, in cinematography, if you think that a movie is fractured, if the directing could have been better, if you didn't like acting of some character, that is okay. Like a legitimate critique is a legitimate critique, and that's what we do here. Honestly, I definitely saw errors within Miss Marvel. It was not a great film. Was it super fun? So not Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Was it super fun? Was it a great introduction to a really strong character that would eventually help take down Thanos? Absolutely. Was it a perfect film? No, it was not. It was not even close to a perfect film. But it immediately followed by Black Panther were not given its due justice and it's the same with Miss Marvel. We are not giving it realistic critiques. We have mostly cis white men coming out and being like, I don't like that she had to take over the character of Carol Danvers. That was Miss Marvel and she had big boobs and she showed them off with a boob pocket, Dude, that's not a review. That's you just being a sexist fucking bigot. That's not a critique. That's not a review. So to all of the audience who are watching us, and we know that we don't have a big platform yet. Cross your fingers, spread the word, share the word. This is what we want. We want to talk the show. We want to talk the comics. Give everything. It's just time. So
yeah. And I'm again, thank you, Heather. I love you so much with that. You speak how certain things that I can't say fully. So thank you. I'm just excited, man. Again, I loved Captain Marvel. I love how we've got the further story of Monica in WandaVision, and now the amazingness that is Miss Marvel. To see the three of them together is going to be amazeballs. And if we get it in episode 6, you're going to see tears, man.
I'm going to be screaming. Running around the house.
Screaming tears. Yeah, run around. It's gonna be like that in this house. So be thankful you don't live with me. It's gonna be that. And
I will drive over to your house and we can do it together.
Yeah. And I'm dying for it. I'm looking forward to it so much. It's gonna be amazing. So Miss Marvel, y'all, that is our feelings on 3 and 4. Stay tuned for our finale with 5 and 6, and because we're going to be talking all about it. We're going to give it to you. We're going to tell you our feelings, and if you cis white men don't like it, oh well, we're still going to give it to you. There you go. Heather, how can the people reach out to you and they can share their opinions on Miss Marvel?
Sure. Come talk to me about Miss Marvel any day, or any of the Inhumans in all reality. You can follow me at NerdIsAHeather on Twitter and at HeatherIsANerd on TikTok and Instagram.
There you go. And for me, it's the legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. Of course, Show Pal Show, AAPI Toy Heroes. And here with Heather and the whole squad at the NRW and Anna Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world.
No way.